The state of Tamil Nadu has produced several scientific brain boxes. From Boger of 3rd to 5th century who claims to have discovered the elixir of immortality, to Muller of 7th to 12th century who spoke about yoga, and several other ancient scientists expertised in quantum physics, astronomy, medicine and even microbiology. But, had that science extinguished? No. Science has been soldered in the brains and veins of every Tamilian. A man who knew infinity was born here. Srinivasa Ramanujam, the father of Green Revolution in India. M.S. Swaminathan, one man who decoded the answer for a question unknown to the scientific community before. Sir C.V. Raman, another man who solved the hydrostatic equation and derived a formula used to determine the maximum mass of a stable white dwarf star named Chandrasekhar limit. And his name, as you have guessed, is Subramanian Chandrasekhar. When the scientific community was longing for another such scientist from Tamil Nadu, there came someone who would change an entire generation. A man who reformed education. A man without haters. Even the father of the nation, as called in India Mahatma Gandhi, too has haters today, saying that he had several bad habits. But this man, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, has none. If you see ISRO, there are several Tamilians there. And the artist behind these works of art is this person. A gem that India has produced. A great teacher, a great student, a great president, a great inspiration, a great role model to several people, a great visionary, a great person, and finally also a great human. Let's trace the path of someone born simple, lived simple, and died simple. But ignited the minds of a billion people in between. And without further ado, let's begin the video. Our story begins on this date, October 15, 1931, in a village whose name nobody would have heard of. It is near the coastal town of Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu, where two poor parents, Jainulabdin and Ashiyama, gave birth to a beautiful boy whom they named Avul Pakir Jainulabdin Abdul Kalam. In short, APJ Abdul Kalam. As I had told you, his family was poor, except for the fact that they had owned large areas of land and had some boats using which they would ship people and goods to the other side of a river and earned meager amounts through this. But, that too reduced after the construction of a bridge across the river. Therefore, he used to collect newspapers thrown by passengers on railway tracks and used to sell them to a recycle man to earn some money he could. In this process of collecting newspapers, he started reading them and learning more about the world outside. To know more about that, he knew that he had to be educated. But since his parents had to work hard to earn money for their family needs alone, Kalam knew there was no way his parents would send him to school. So, he started searching for some place where he could get free education during his tender age of 8. And as soon as he came to know that free education was provided in a temple at a distance from his home, he started waking up at 3:30 in the morning and go to the temple at 4 to learn something new. After this, he would spend an hour in the mosque and then resume collecting newspapers. This went on for months. One day when he was collecting newspapers, he saw cranes and seagulls soaring high in the sky. Here was where his dreams of flight and avionics had ignited. But, he never said this to his parents, as he felt that their parents would be worried that they were not in a position to fulfill the dreams of their child. One day, when his dad asked Kalam if he had any goal in his life, Kalam opened up the fact that he wanted to study in his school. His dad stared at him saying, "Shouldn't you have told this earlier? Just because we are poor, it doesn't mean we deny education." Saying these words, Kalam was enrolled in the school of a neighboring town. And since he could not travel every day to the town, Kalam decided to part from his family in order to stay somewhere near his school. Before departing, Kalam's dad fed him with a motivational statement telling him that he would become a recognizable man in his village on his return. But at that time, his father didn't know that he would be India's president and be one of India's most loved men in the future. Back to his school days, he was unable to focus on his studies due to isolation with his family. But, he made friends with few of his classmates and they used to walk to school together laughing merrily. One day, for some reason or the other, Kalam had to go late to his school. To his misfortune, he did not know where his classroom was. While roaming the school premises searching for his classroom, He found his math teacher in a class. Assuming that one to be his class, he stepped in. But he was greeted by wild noises coming from unfamiliar faces. Kalam slowly realized that he had come to the wrong classroom. His math teacher started scolding and humiliating him, saying, "Why should a person who doesn't even know his classroom come to school from a distant village to study?" Then, the math teacher gave Kalam a tight strike with a wooden stick. Kalam even thought of dropping himself from the school. But the words his dad said before leaving his home were alive in his heart, which told him to continue his studies. So, he studied with full concentration. In the next exams, Kalam scored exceptionally well, especially in maths, where he got 100 on 100. The same teacher who scolded him a few days back telling him to quit the school had started praising him. His math teacher even spoke during the school assembly, pointing at Kalam, saying everyone to mark his words, saying that Kalam would be a successful person in the future and bring pride to their school. As per the confidence of his teachers, Kalam worked hard, studying every day till 2 o'clock and waking up in less than 5 hours from that. This habit continued till his death. This was his dedication towards studies. Somehow Kalam completed schooling and it was time for college. But Kalam did not have any idea on which college to choose. But he kept in mind that the college must have less fees. So, after roaming the whole neighborhood in search of a college, he got himself enrolled in a college in Trichy and took up general physics there. But only after spending days there he came to know that he was interested in astronomy, aeronautics and aviation, as that was the place that attracted him in the college library. So, he went to one of his teachers to ask if he could transfer from general physics to aeronautical engineering. But his teacher replied that aeronautics was not available in their college. To be frank, there were only a handful of institutes in India then which had astronomy courses. One of them was Madras Institute of Technology, or MIT, in Chennai, which was the closest to the college where Kalam had studied. But the fees there were so high and the proximity from his hometown was also long. So, Kalam had to give up his flight dreams for a few days until an exciting news arrived. MIT would charge minimal fees, that is high scholarships, to students who perform exceptionally well in their entrance exams. So, Kalam saved some money for his transportation and rushed to Chennai as soon as possible. He gave his exams and was confident on getting scholarships. But a thunderbolt struck. He was asked for 1,000 rupees as admission fees. Though 1,000 rupees might sound less today, it was of high value during his days, and even higher for someone like him who hailed from a poor family background. So, Kalam thought of going back to his college in Trichy after informing his parents. But he had not expected something from his family. That was the something that would change his entire life. His sister sold all jewelry and ornaments she had to get some money and sent 1,000 rupees to Kalam for his admission fees. Tears flowed down Kalam's eyes. Suddenly an even happier news arrived in his ears. He need not pay for his food, shelter and for his education if his performance in the scholarship exam, which was to come in a few months, was exceptional. Therefore, after paying his admission fees of 1,000 rupees, Kalam took his first step into MIT with big dreams and started working from fingers to the bone to perform well in the scholarship exam. By studying all day long, Kalam even forgot to eat dinner before sleeping. One day, he was assigned a project of designing a plane which had some peculiar features listed in a paper given to him. But, as he was engrossed in preparing for his scholarship exams, Kalam paid no attention to it. After a week, one Friday, his project manager called for Kalam and told him that he was not at all satisfied with Kalam's progress in the project. When Kalam asked for a month's extension, his project manager told Kalam that he could extend the project for not more than 3 days. So, Kalam had to complete his task in 3 days. If not, the project manager would tell higher officials to cancel Kalam's scholarship if he gets one. After hearing this, Kalam spent the whole day doing this work by taking rest for less than 5 hours combined on both Friday and Saturday. With such a dedication and sleepless nights, Kalam completed the work. Not in 3 days that he asked for, but in 1 day less. Yes, Kalam completed his work on Sunday itself. When his project manager came to know about this, He rushed to Kalam's room from the tennis court where he was playing tennis. A pity sight caught the attention of his project manager, who came to his room wearing his tennis outfit. Kalam was sleeping lying in one corner of his room. Beside him was a bunch of papers. That was none other than the task his project manager assigned him. After flipping through the pages, his project manager confirmed that there were no flaws in what Kalam had written. The project manager woke up Kalam and congratulated him. He also added that he knew that Kalam had the potential to complete the task in less than a week. But Kalam's habit of procrastination was what was making Kalam irregular. From that day onwards, Kalam never procrastinated anything in his life. Not only in speed, but also in accuracy. After completing his college, what next? Just a job was left. For job, he went to Dehradun for Indian Air Force interviews. Out of 25 applicants, Kalam was ranked 9th by his interrogators. But to Kalam's horror, only 8 applicants were to be selected for Air Force, and his one position down had costed him his dreams. Now, Kalam was depressed that he could not fulfill his aerial navigation dreams, which he wanted to do since childhood by gazing at birds. He was even up to the level of committing suicide. But it was one wise man who came to him and spoke something. He told Kalam not to be dejected just because he was rejected. He also said Kalam that if someone is rejected in something, it means that fate has a bigger stage for you to show your talents. This motivation kept Kalam moving. As that man said, Kalam had a better platform. Looking at his potential, he was included in the design of DART. Soon, the Government of India established Aeronautical Development Establishment, AED, at Bangalore. Kalam was now working for 3 years in DART, and hence he was posted to AED. Based on his experience and studies, AED set up a project team for which Kalam was appointed the leader. His first assignment was to design and develop an indigenous hovercraft prototype, called the Ground Equipment Machine. With limited resources and almost no information, the team designed and developed the indigenous hovercraft named Nandi. After loads of hard work, the project was completed. Its appearance was not attractive, but it could serve its purpose. The defense minister then took a ride in it with Kalam at the controls. The risk was worth, as it proved to be a smooth ride. But an unexpected bombshell was hurled suddenly, stating that the mission was to be cancelled and dropped. Kalam was deeply disappointed. What hurts Indians even more is that the model hovercraft of Nandi developed by Kalam Sir is imported by the government from other countries today instead of using Kalam's model. Had it not been dropped then, Indian government could have prevented the loss of that prototype. Soon, Kalam joined the Defense Research and Development Organization, that is DRDO. Here, Kalam was not happy with the way he was treated and thus soon moved to ISRO, which was then called Indian National Committee for Space Research, or INCOSPAR. Here, he was given 2 more projects for which Kalam gave his 100% effort, but both were cancelled without any reason, like the one we saw previously. This hat trick of failures pushed Kalam into a state of depression. To aggravate the problem, his mom, dad, sister's husband all passed away in a successive manner. This depression had almost killed Kalam if not for his friend who motivated him. After listening to his friend, Kalam was given his next project, in which he was appointed the project director of SLV-3, which was India's first indigenously designed and produced satellite launch vehicle. Again, he gave his 100% effort, and was successful, as SLV-3 had a beautiful liftoff at 7:48 a.m. as it left behind a thick trail of vapor. For 68 seconds the vehicle soared along the predicted course to a height of 23 kilometers. Then came a fatal malfunction in the second stage control system. Needless to say, Kalam met his next failure. Though he was depressed, he kept motivating himself. Next came a breakthrough project which was handed to him without a second thought that he was a failure in the previous mission. This time, Kalam repaid the hopes by successfully placing his next mission satellite Rohini into the orbit. During the date of the launch, a minister from the central government spoke to Kalam saying that this mission would be a successful one. The first motivational phrase Kalam heard in months. The minister said Kalam, if the mission was successful, he would give anything Kalam asks for. Without thinking, Kalam immediately requested for nothing but 100 saplings to be planted near the rocket launching station, as his eyes were not happy looking at the barren land. The minister replied that 100 saplings would be the first thing Kalam would see the next morning after the launch at evening at 7:30 p.m. and a night's sleep. And the next morning, 100 saplings were planted as per Kalam's words. Kalam tasted his first success in years. But the fact that the three people responsible for his success, namely his mom, dad and his sister, were not alive to see his success had made him worry a bit during this victory. He then returned to DRDO as director in 1982, where Kalam implemented the Integrated Guided Missile Development Program. This is where Kalam got his popular nickname Missile Man. He then became the senior scientific advisor to India's defense minister in 1992. A position he used to campaign for the development of nuclear tests. Under him, India successfully made a nuclear test and tested it at Pokhran with the name Operation Shakti. Through this, India became one of the few countries with nuclear weapons. After this success, Abdul Kalam sent a message on the hotline saying, "Buddha smiles again." In 2002, India's ruling National Democratic Alliance selected Kalam to contest in an election against Lakshmi Sehgal, and thereby Kalam was named India's 11th president. Here, he spent a large amount of his money to fund government schools, laboratories, ISRO and several other organizations, which led India to a quantum leap in the field of science, including the discovery of water on the surface of the moon by Chandrayaan-1. Known as the People's President, Kalam set a goal of conducting 500,000 one-on-one meetings with young people over the course of his 5-year term. His immense popularity led to him being nominated by MTV for a Youth Icon of the Year award in 2003 and 2006. After leaving office in 2007, Kalam stood in the next elections, but withdrew himself as he felt that he had done his duty and became a visiting professor at several universities in different parts of India. He formed the What Can I Give movement in 2011 with the goal of creating a compassionate society, and in 2012, his efforts to improve healthcare led to the release of a tablet for medical personnel to use in remote areas. Apart from achievements in his career, Kalam is also a well-disciplined person. He had not watched TV his whole life. All he had as friends were books. Books everywhere. Apart from reading books, he has also written few books. And the one name that stands out is India 2020, a vision for the new millennium, in which he about his dream of India becoming a developed nation in 2020. But unfortunately, I regret to say you that his dream has become a dream forever and not a reality. But, our youth has the potential to turn this into a reality. But there are few hindrances, which I will say in future videos. Let's go back to his other books. Wings of Fire, which is an autobiography of him. Ignited Minds, Unleashing the Power Within India, The Luminous Sparks, a biography in verse and colors. Mission of India, a vision of Indian youth. You Are Born to Blossom, Take My Journey Beyond, The Scientific India, a 21st century guide to the world around us. Failure to Success, Legendary Lives, You Are Unique, Scale New Heights by Thoughts and Actions, and several other books. On 27th of July 2015, Kalam traveled to Shillong to deliver a lecture on creating a livable planet Earth at the Indian Institute of Management Shillong. While climbing a flight of stairs, he experienced some discomfort, but was able to enter the auditorium after a brief rest. At around 6:35 p.m. IST, only 5 minutes into his lecture, he collapsed. He was rushed to the nearby Bethany Hospital in a critical condition. Upon arrival, he lacked a pulse or any other signs of life. Despite being placed in the intensive care unit, Kalam was confirmed dead of a sudden cardiac arrest at 7:45 p.m. On July 30, 2015, he was laid to rest at Rameshvaram with full state honors. Over 350,000 people attended the last rites, including the Prime Minister, the Governor of Tamil Nadu and the Chief Ministers of Karnataka, Kerala and Andhra Pradesh. Though he did not want the nation to mourn for a single soul like him, the government declared a public holiday for a couple of days to mourn this great person. He also featured in a stamp released in 2015. He had received 7 honorary doctorates from 40 different universities. The Indian government honored him with the Padma Bhushan in 1981 and the Padma Vibhushan in 1990 for his work with ISRO, DRDO and his role as a scientific advisor to the government. In 1997, Kalam received India's highest civilian honor, the Bharat Ratna, for his contribution to the scientific research and modernization of defense technology in India. In 2013, he was the recipient of the Von Braun Award from the National Space Society to recognize excellence in the management and leadership of a space-related project. In 2012, he was ranked number 2 in Outlook India's poll of the greatest Indian. This is indeed a loss for the nation. We miss you, Kalam sir. On his honor, an island named Wheeler Island was renamed Abdul Kalam Island in September 2015 and a prominent road in New Delhi was renamed from Aurangzeb Road to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Road in August 2015. In February 2018, scientists from the Botanical Survey of India named a newly found plant species as Dreptes kalami, on his honor. In the 2011 Hindi film I Am Kalam, Kalam is portrayed as an inspiration for a poor Rajasthani boy who renames himself Kalam in honor of his idol. Despite such recognitions, Kalam is so simple that he refuses to sit in a special chair as he believes that he is neither above nor below anybody else. There are tons of things we can learn from Kalam's life. Dedication, patriotism, teamwork, simplicity, respect, ability to overcome failures, honesty, not misusing power, setting goals, and I can keep saying the list for a complete video. There are those many lessons to learn from him. But what I can learn from his life is summarized by his quote: "Don't read success stories, you will only get a message. Read failure stories, you will get some ideas to get success." Kalam sir has said it is easy to defeat someone, but it is hard to win someone. As per your quote, you have won the hearts of 1 billion people, sir. He has also said that he is lucky to have been born in India. But I say, it is not he who has to be proud, but the 1.366 billion people who are born in this country which has given rise to a leading light in this nation's soil which has given birth to a great personality like him. You will be alive in our hearts forever, sir. Thanking you, and missing you. R.I.P. Rest in peace, or, return if possible.